Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So Zero here to take a look at a Jhin supplementary guide, and as you guys can see here, it's basically the same as the Jhin complete guide, just with an addition of a YOUMUU'S Ghost Blade as your first item. So a couple of changes with this build here. We're gonna go straight into it. It's really similar to the best Jhin build in my opinion, which is going for lethality boots first item for that early damage. The best Jhin build of course involves going into Collector, Rapid Fire, not Rapid Fire, Magnetic Blaster, and then IE and more Reminder, and a final more defensive item. Now I think that's generally Jin's best build. This build basically inserts a first item YOUMUU'S Ghost Blade instead of that, and this Jhin build was the meta Jhin build before patch 5.0, so like on patch like 4. Something, this was the best Jhin build. But the main reason why I don't think this Jhin build is really the best one anymore is because IE got a huge buff and delaying your crit is not very good. However, some of the top few Jhin players are going back to this build, and of course we all know that in the future patches coming out in a couple of days at this point, the ruined and the light items are going to be reverted, so IE is not going to be as strong anymore. So this build might become the best build once again. We don't know. We'll have to see when that change comes. But basically with this build, you go for YOUMUU'S as the first item. Of course, that's another very strong lethality item. Gives you a lot of AD, gives you a good amount of lethality, as well as of course that bonus attack speed, which is going to be converted into attack damage for Jhin. And then you pretty much go for the same build where you're going to collect their next, so your third lethality item in a row, and then of course your IE, your Rapid Fire. I don't know, I keep saying that your Magnetic Blaster and your more Reminder, pretty straightforward of a build. Of course Fleet Footwork is going to be Jin's best major rune. I don't think anyone's really debating about that. Most people by now have already figured out that First Strike is not very good on Jhin. So of course here I think Triumph or Gathering Storm is actually better compared to going for Brutal, because Jhin really doesn't attack that much because his attacks are really slow. So you really generally in the match only get 400, 500 damage from Brutal, where on most other ADCs you can get easily over 1,000. So I don't really think it's worth it to go for Brutal, although there is an argument that Gathering Storm is really not that helpful, and neither really is Triumph. So there is an argument that Brutal is still good, but I personally take Triumph on Jhin. Giant Slayer and Bloodline, pretty obvious ones. Now I will say that some of the top Jhin players are taking Legend Alacrity instead, because although Jhin can't gain attack speed, that attack speed is going to be converted into attack damage. So they choose attack damage over lifesteal, but I like lifesteal because in this build we have no lifesteal whatsoever. So you're going to have a problem with your healing if you don't go for that one, because we don't have, the Gluttonous Greaves. So aside from that, a lot of the top Jhins are actually taking Nimbus Cloak. So Nimbus Cloak, I actually tried it out in this game, and you can see that it's actually already, maybe you can't see yet, but you will see whenever we cast Summoner Spells, we get that bonus movement speed. I actually do think it's pretty useful. So I think for your last rune, you can choose between Bone Plating, Hex Flash, and Nimbus Cloak. I actually do think Nimbus Cloak is really good, really viable. But after discussing the loadout, of course, also we have a choice between Ghost and Exhaust, right? So generally, I will default to getting Ghost because mobility is really good. But in this case, we have a Hecarim, a Yone, and a Callista, all of which are really short range and want to be very close to you, so it's easy to exhaust them. So in this game, I chose to take Exhaust, especially also because I know in lane Callista is going to take Exhaust, so I need to exhaust her and she exhausts me. If not, I'm not going to be able to escape and I'm probably going to die to her, so there's that as well. Okay, so now we can talk more about the gameplay itself. So far what you guys have seen so far is that Viego came in for a very nice gank. He got 2 kills off of the gank and gave me 2 assists off of it, as did Leona get the 2 assists as well. Not too much other action has been happening. Jhin Leona is a pretty decent, strong early game lane. However, Callista, in my opinion, best early game ADC. Even better than Draven or Lucian. However, Sona is a little bit anti-synergy with Callista, because Sona doesn't really want to be thrown in by Callista's ultimate, and she can't really engage very well for Callista. I mean, yes, she could get that auto for the half-second stun, or she could also land her ulti for Callista to engage, but definitely not Callista's best supports. Probably not even the top 10 best Callista supports, definitely not. So yeah, a little bit of an anti-synergy enemy bot lane here. So yeah, we can't really just go in and start a fight, because if we do that, Callista is going to get off a lot of damage and we don't necessarily win it. So we are kind of just willing to kind of just farm and wait for a gank from Viego, like what happened just now, or otherwise just farm, because Of course, since Kalista is such a strong early game, that means she falls off in the mid to late game because that's the way champions are balanced. So she is the strongest early game out of all the ADC, so she's gonna start falling off mid to late game. Whereas Jhin does have a pretty strong early game, but definitely he has a better mid and late game compared to Kalista. So we're okay with just pretty much doing nothing much and just getting our farm and just waiting for something to happen. We don't necessarily have to make something happen, and in this case, it's really hard for Sona and Kalista to make something happen as well. So here we clear the wave and we're going to rotate over to the dragon. Looks like it's being contested. Everyone is kind of converging here, so we're going to set the trap down. Veigar puts the cage. We're going to walk around it. Now, Kalista and me are kind of in a 1v1. I exhaust her, and here my team is kind of just cleaning up the fight. I flash over the wall to try to chase the Kalista. Sona gets pulled in, tries to escape with the help of Kalista. However, I'm going to open my ult, and she gets stunned by Viego. I land 2 shots on her. Yeah, Veigar's not in the range of the ulti, so I'm just going to clear the minion wave and start working on the tower. Now, I see Veigar's actually chasing Viego, so I'm here just rotating to help Viego out, and Veigar knows that because he sees me walking away from the tower and he gives up the chase, as he should. So overall, pretty nice chain of events for us. We picked up 2 quick kills there, so now 2-0 and 3 have the YOUMUU'S first item completed already, and of course it's going to be a major spike. In fact, with that YOUMUU'S and with that lethality boots, you might actually be able to fight Kalista in the lane, because Kalista doesn't yet have her Blade of the Rune King, so we do have a pretty decent lead against her. However, of course, we are alone in lane at the moment, have to kind of wait for Leona to come back. Meanwhile, the Herald fight is ensuing, but we are stuck in a 2v2 here in the bot lane, so we're not going to be able to go there. Viego does get the Herald, no problem, so it's all good. Looks really nice for my team at the moment. We do have a very decent 8-1 lead, just 6 minutes into the game. So we are definitely at the spot that we want to be in. Herald goes down in the mid lane. Viego goes down, and Veigar goes down as well to Viego. But yeah, so here, really it's not very interesting at the moment. But we still will be having some more Jhin content coming out. I am planning to do a crit build on Jhin video. Now it's kind of the end of season. I've already kind of hit my rank goal as to where I want. Now here we actually finally go in, and yeah, enemy team's kind of really not coordinated. Twist of Fate comes in, gets the KS here as well. But as I was saying, I do plan to do a crit Jhin build. It's kind of the end of the season, so since I've already hit my rank goal, I'm playing a little bit more casually in terms of playing in ranked mode. So I'm kind of playing like Jhin, who's not really a meta champion. I'm also playing the non-meta builds on Jhin, like this one here. That could be meta in a few days, but definitely is not the most meta build now. And Crit Jhin completely out of the meta kind of build. So I'm just kind of trying out these builds and stuff, since I don't really want, not that I don't want to, but I don't really have any pressure to climb rank. So I'm just kind of enjoying myself and trying out all of these different builds that I don't normally play so much in ranked matches, because obviously I'm playing the meta, trying to win. And yeah, so on the way to the lane, we're just farming up the Krugs and then making it to the lane. We can see Kalista isn't here, neither is Sona. We saw Sona briefly on the river vision, so we know she's somewhere between here and mid. We push that out, and since we don't really have anywhere else to farm unless we rotate mid, we're just going to clear these Krugs. And since no one is actually going mid, we're actually just going to hit all the way to mid to pick up the mid wave that will be crashing into the tower really soon. Leona hits the vision plant, nobody there. We're going to actually get this whole wave. Veigar actually gets caught by Leona. I follow up with the root. He's kind of stuck there. However, the entire enemy team shows up, and by that I mean the bot lane. However, Kalista goes in way too deep, just gets ulted by Garen for free. Pulls Sona into a very dangerous situation. Sorry, she didn't get ulted by Garen. I believe she got stun carded by Twisted Fate. And in the grand scheme of things, basically everyone on the map other than Yone actually dies. I think Yone actually just revives. So I think we actually got an ace there if I'm not mistaken. But we do get the mid lane tower off of that. Yone trying to defend his mid lane inhibitor against 5 people, definitely not going to work out for him. He tries to go in, knocks up 3 people, but of course, as you guys can see, he cannot defend the inhibitor without just straight up dying. So he does wisely let us have the inhib, although he does offer some resistance. And yeah, so pretty one-sided game is this one. We have like more than a 10k goal lead before like 10 minutes into the game already. So everyone on my team is just winning. 3-1 and 2 Garen, 7-0 and 3 Viego, 3-0 and 5 TF, and I'm 3-0 and 7, Leona 0-1 and 10. Yeah, it's looking a little bit rough for the enemy team at the moment. However, You know, with champions like Veigar, like Hecarim, like Yone, you're kind of never really out of the game. Like Kalista is gonna fall off, Sona is gonna be amazing late game, Veigar is gonna be amazing late game. Here, you know, using my ult to just snipe out the Sona, who's only worth 150 gold at this point, sniping the minion wave as well. Here, the Hecarim goes onto me, and you can see how much damage he does. You know, I'm just trying my best to escape from him, and here's where the Nimbus Cloak actually came in to help me escape. I actually kill him, but you know, I just get ulted by Veigar and die instantly. However, Veigar, of course, is going to pay for that with his life. My team's not going to let him get away with that. But yeah, you guys saw I was 1 HP from the Hecarim just running in on me, which is why I say, you know, Hecarim's kind of always a threat. He's a really strong champion and nearly kills me. But, you know, with my Nimbus Cloak, I'm actually able to use my flash and get the Nimbus Cloak movement speed to kite him out. And we're actually able to finish him off. Unfortunately for me, Veigar, I ran straight into him and, you know, he just had to ult me to secure the kill, point and click. So no way for me to outplay that one. But, you know, I did my best there and, yeah, you know, what can you do? Either way, we are still incredibly fat. We're just barely behind Viego, who's obviously the most fat person in the game with 9 kills and 0 deaths. I wouldn't say strange, but like, I'm not sure why Viego, I'm not sure why Viego went for like a Maw second item, because like Veigar is not really that big of a threat. Sona doesn't do magic damage, and Yone does only a little magic damage, so I wouldn't really go for that if I was him. I do manage to get a snipe onto the Veigar, and my team is going in. Leona's getting a stun onto Yone. I'm trying my best to catch up because I was just rooted by my ult right there. And here I finally catch up, but I get stunned by the Sona, trying to finish off Yone, not quite able to get it. So instead I'm going to go for the top lane tower, which is going to be a pretty easy target for us here. We get that top lane tower, no biggie. And we can now move on to either forcing the inhib or just backing off. Now here I'm not confident of, you know, forcing that inhib. Viego is split pushing on the other side, so we could either try to just get pressure so that Viego can continue pushing, or we can just try to reset. Turns out that Garen is actually leading the enemy team right to the Viego, but Viego and Garen managed to actually 2-man kill the tower because the entire enemy team decided to just go mid and not defend their tower, which is really weird. Now they're getting actually collapsed on by the enemy team. Or rather, I should say Garen's getting collapsed on by the enemy team because Viego didn't manage to back. And here I believe I was really close to IE, which was why I was like hardcore trying to farm whatever I could. And I believe that should give me enough for IE. Yeah, there we go. So we got IE completed here. Of course, major damage source, and it's going to be a big spike for me. Now I'm at like 50% crit, but don't forget that Jhin's 4-shot always crits. So IE on Jhin has a lot more value than a lot of other champions, because even if you get it like, you know, second crit item, I should say, you still get a lot of value from it. So here again with the ulti, I'm not really hitting. I'm trying to hit the Sona now, and unfortunately they all just walk out of my range, so I only managed to get one onto the Sona. I get the root onto Kalista here, accidentally attacking the Ghost. Hecarim comes in, I exhaust him again. Hecarim's kind of a little bit of an issue for me. I'm flashing away just as Sona's stun follows me. Yone's trying to run me down, but I do a little bit too much damage. I pick up the triple here, and I get the Triumph proc off of that. I only really had like my Viego with me, so I wasn't really too confident of just chasing for the Quadra and the Penta, but considering it was like Veigar and Sona, I probably could have if I really wanted to, but I just chose not to because I was not really that high on health, and I didn't really want to die because we could get Baron if I didn't, because obviously you can see that Veigar and Sona can't really stop us from getting Baron, so I do the safer safer play. We get Baron. I here take the QSS. Of course, QSS is really good for Sona's passive and her ulti. Also for Viega's cage, really helpful. Technically, you could like QSS like Yone or Hecarim if you're really fast enough, but that's kind of unrealistic, so we're not gonna talk too much about that. Here, farming the mid wave. My team is getting into a fight with the enemy team here. I'm just trying to catch up. Get the auto onto the Hecarim to get the kill. The slow from Sona's ult is kind of huge. I honestly should have QSS that so that I could actually chase people down here instead of just trying to catch with the fight. I nearly 2-shot the Kalista here. I'm gonna actually ult, so I get another triple kill, I believe here. It's actually a single and a double, I believe. At the end of the day, but we basically end up getting all of them. Only Sona is alive, and we have a wave in mid, so that's gonna be the end of the game. Really one-sided affair, but yeah, we'll see how the crit Jhin game goes after this one. Yeah, so we got one last kill onto the Sona before we end the game. Unfortunately, Leona ends up trading for it 1-for-1, but we do grab that final kill, end the game. And as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.